Hola. I hope all is well with everybody. Welcome to the Return of the Matriarch podcast. Hey, Saya. Waiting on my right hand to come through. I see that she joined. Can you hear me, Empress? Okay, let me see. Okay, I see Saya here. Let me
There we
turn
go.
this stuff. Hey, girl, I'm used to you logging in, girl. This new to me. I'm still learning. How you doing?
Yes. No. Great. How about you?
All is well. You look so good.
Thank you. Thank you. So do you. I love when you have your hair out.
Thank you so much. It was time. I needed a
Oops. Oh, you're so welcome. Let me
break.
see if
Yes.
I can do both. Do a live and um I wonder, yeah. I think it worked last time. And I think it was fine.
True
Anyways,
that.
okay. Amazing. Well, while I get this set up, let's get rocking and rolling.
Indeed. Well,
Oh,
this is episode 4. And so this is a really big topic, manifestation and alignment and how the two go hand in hand if you really want to reap your abundance in the fullness. So I'm really excited about this topic.
me too. I also to add it to that, you know, I feel like there's only so far that mindset and manifestation can take you. And so I also want to talk about what comes next when these things stop working. I'm going to put beyond. Oop, mindset and manifestation. Okay, let's see. I'll go live here, and then I'm gonna turn that all the way down. Okay, I think that should be good. Woohoo! All right.
Now I know you usually open up with the prayer,
Yes, I would
you
love
know,
to do that.
please.
So much. Yes, yes, yes. I thought I had. I do. Okay. Okay. Take my. This is how conservative I get. I literally am
Okay.
like the
I do the
smallest
same.
piece of need. This is all you need. Gotta
That's it.
conserve.
Yes. A mustard seed of sage. That's all you need.
Yes, just a little bit. See, she blow. Like, look at her. Look at
I
her.
see it.
She's doing her thing. All right. Beautiful. Well, I'd like to start how I start nearly everything with 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, landing in as you inhale and exhale. Maybe some sound wants to come out. Gorgeous. Thanking every single person who will see this, not only here live, but also on the replay, asking that this message be clear, this message be nice, easy to understand. Let both Shunda and I speak clearly, speak openly, and speak with truth. Calling in any animal totems, all 4 directions, and our valiant resources, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the creator, the ultimate spirit. Thank you so much. All right, and let us do our thing. Ashe.
Indeed. Now, you mentioned what comes after manifestation and alignment once you're aligned. And I wanted you to, before you answer, to think about where does divine timing and God's will ultimately play. Can you be before God's timing and then just still have to wait, because patience is a virtue and you're still maybe learning lessons, and it can get a little complicated.
Yeah, that's such a good point to bring up. I actually think that's the perfect place to start because, when in your first awakening, mindset and manifestation, like I feel like everybody starts off with The Secret, right? Like, did you ever read that book or see that movie?
I haven't.
Okay, a lot of people, myself included, start there. When it was really big, when I first found manifestation, and that was back in 2016, and it was huge. And I loved like the concepts, and I was so drawn in because it really it really gave you the responsibility while also being like okay, while also being like able to. I just got restricted on TikTok, so it's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is a
Oh,
powerful teaching.
uh,
Let's go.
I'm like, yes. So being able to, it gave you back the responsibility, and also kind of like left a lot of things in the air. And I really liked that back then because at first I was thinking like, okay, speaking to divine timing, and while I could just claim what I wanted, and then I would be able to manifest it, or I would be able to like just think positively and things would happen, like God would have favor on my positive mindset. And that really worked for a while. It worked for a couple years, but it was because the manifestations and the mindset work that I was doing was not, it wasn't expansive outside of what my body could handle. So I was manifesting pretty much everything that I wanted because back then I wanted a really simple life. I didn't really feel like I needed a lot of money. I was also somebody who was like, I will risk it for the biscuit. I was a big risk taker. One of the biggest risks I ever took was moving to Ghana with my ex, who I met online. And we'd only been talking for a couple months, like on through Telegram on like video chat. And he was like, hey, you should like come live with me and my family over in Ghana. And I said, okay, let's go. And I did. And it was crazy because I didn't have a passport. I'd never been out of the country. I was couch surfing. Okay. I just broke up with my previous boyfriend probably about 4 or 5 months prior to that. And it was so crazy because I'm like, wow, this is like a big thing that I need to manifest. This is a lot that I have to like to get through. And this was back in 2021. So this was like right before COVID got really bad. And I got my passport in 3 weeks. I got my visa in 2 weeks, and I was working part time at Cosmoprof, and I was also doing hair and makeup on the side. And it just so happened that I had gotten a couple of jobs because the ticket to Ghana was like $1,000. So,
Mm-hmm.
I needed to save up and
Right.
like, get my booty moving. So it was so crazy because being able to have the get the visa and also my passport, and I didn't even expedite it. So that was what was crazy. I
Wow.
didn't even pay to expedite. Yeah, like,
That's
so the
awesome.
manifestation was manifesting. Like we were really doing I was really doing my big one. But, you know, those types of things felt easy to me because I had already experienced a lot of big risks, a lot of um kind of things that would make a lot of other people really nervous and
Right.
not want to like jump out and take that risk.
Mm-hmm.
I was really I was open to that. So it was
Right.
easy for me to manifest those things. But the moment that I started to realize that I wanted more in my life and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to stop like doing these what felt like really big risks, um I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna manifest more money. I'm going to manifest a house. I'm gonna like all these different things. And I didn't get any of those things. One, because I realized I didn't really, well, the money I did, but the house I did not.
You about to
Um,
say it. You about to say
yes,
it.
yes. I was not comfortable. I'd never experienced outside of when I was exploited. I never had seen that amount of money before. And honestly, I didn't really ever see the amount of money that I was trying to manifest because my pimp took it all. So, like, of all the different scenarios, when I'm trying to manifest more money, stability, a car, a this, a that, my nervous system, my body was not used to that type of expansion. So I had hit a ceiling of what was possible and what was feasible to me. And this is where, after a couple years of this, of just kind of like manifesting this thing and that thing and not really getting any farther, I was like, all of this stuff that I learned in The Secret about mindset, about manifestation, like I could silver lining my way out of anything. I could see the positive side. I had a great mindset. So many people told me like I'm delusional and all that stuff. Like I was really in it, but I really believed these things. But the problem was that I wasn't, I didn't have the capacity to hold the things that I was calling in back then, or the things that I wanted, like the next level to what this could look like. And so I had to learn how to expand that capacity. I also had to get more clear on what I deeply desired instead of what I thought was available to me and what I thought was an option. And
Right.
then, oh, thank you so much. Somebody joined my fan club on TikTok. Thank you.
Right.
Yay. Lou.
Awesome.
Oh, Luann. Luann, I see you, girl. So yes. And so that's where the expansion had to come from. That's where that openness needed to come. And
Because you have to prepare yourself. And so
yes.
that's what I was speaking with my partner with yesterday, is that, like right now she's trying to purchase a home. And so she's done it before plenty of times, but it's been a while. And so, like you say, believing in yourself, believing that you can do it, but also putting in the work. So, what is alignment exactly? Is it, like even with me, like I want to tour, but then I was like, well, I was in Florida last week and I was in nature. I'm like, really, if I could just live like this is really all I want, just to be away from everybody and I could just disappear. And so it's like, do you really want those things that you think you want? or is it just something that you're filling the gap, while you have this downtime or wishful thinking or whatever? It just may not be what's for you, what is meant for you. And so what is alignment? How do you prepare, and how do you truly find out what your own heart's desires are, when it can be muddled with so many things you used to want or you think you want?
Yes. Oh my gosh, such a good question. And this is really where the flora method that I teach in the School of Somatic Alchemy really comes into play, because if you don't know what you want, it is going to be very hard to call your desires in. And when you're going through the process of really figuring out, like you're saying, like, do I really want to disappear into the woods, or do I really actually want to tour? And am I like, what am I avoiding within that might be keeping me from really like seeing clearly?
Right.
And I think it's like equal parts faith and equal parts action. It's like faith and
Indeed.
action. Faith without works
Yes.
is delusion, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so when when we start to move towards something, we will know very quickly if if it's not correct for us. There will be blockades. There will be things that just don't feel right. So when you're asking about like what is alignment, alignment is being able to move with ease through a process. And not saying that everything is going to be easy all the time, but
Mhm.
there's a resistance that is not just coming from you, but is also coming the from other circumstances that
Mhm.
are colliding together. And so it's like, how do I know if I'm moving in the right direction and this is just resistance, or like this is really like spirit telling me no, stop? And that is going to come from being able to tune into your body. You can't logic your way out of this discomfort. You can't logic your way into making this next step make sense. And honestly, logic is most of the time what has gotten us out of alignment, because
Yes.
like our intuition speaks to us. And when it
Mhm.
speaks, it oftentimes does not actually make any sense, because we're like, that is insane. Like, that's actually crazy that I
Mhm.
would think that this was possible, or think that I would want this. But in reality, your intuition is pulling you. But you have to know how to drop
Mhm.
into the body and actually listen to that. Because being ruled by the mind, which is why, there's a mindset and manifestation. You're so cute with the glasses. Thank you, Luann. Um, the you have this cap on your mindset and your ability to manifest, because a lot of this is coming from the mind. So you have to
Mhm.
be able to tap into the body. And that's why I teach somatics over mindset and manifestation, because with mindset and manifestation, you're so cute. Um, it is there's a limit. There's a limit to logic. And there's only so many I'm so happy's affirmations that you can do before you honestly stop believing it.
Right. Indeed. So for me, like when you talk about intuition, and even how you've just up and left and moved to a whole other country with someone you just met, I've done the same thing. And so when I'm used to having that radical faith and just knowing that I'm going in the right direction, even though I'm leaving this country with $200 and I don't know how I'm going to survive in South America or what's going to happen to me. I just know I got to go. I got to pull and I got to go and I got to move. I'm moving off of how I feel. So, and what feels right, like you said, you're going to know when something is not for you. And so that's how much of my life has been. And I didn't really understand alignment until recently. Um, and I really tap in with the tarot heavy. So I've learned a lot with tarot
Love tarot.
and how,
You know I love
yeah,
tarot.
yes, indeed. And so I've learned how people, places, and things, and having the wrong people, places, and things in your energy can throw you out of alignment and block opportunities, different blessings that you're supposed to have coming your way. They can be a distraction to where instead of focusing on yourself, you're focusing on this because you're trying to save somebody else or whatever the case may be. So our lives are so delicate, and before my dad passed, he said, Lashunda, you have to run your life like a business. And
Mm.
so I
Okay,
understand.
Dad.
Yeah, I really do and that's how I do now. Like if something is not working for me, if I feel like something's off, I just cut it off because I'd rather save myself the headache down the road when I've already seen the red flag. Like I'm no longer ignoring red flags and, things that have my nervous system out of whack. And
Right.
so that has really been helpful for me to be able to navigate and attract what I want. And what I'm having to do is put in the work even before I became a star with the music. And we used to do interviews all over the world, and I would say all the time that fame come before the fortune. They were looking at us like, oh, you're a superstar, you made it, you rich. And I'm like, no, we're not rich. Fame comes before the fortune. We have to put in the work before we can get that abundance, that financial abundance, because we're not going to sell our soul. And so
Right.
even now I desire to have that same fame, but for different reasons now to really push this healing and self love journey. But instead of me just having it in my head and just wishing like one day I know I'm gonna be back out there, I'm actually having to put in the work
Mm.
and build
Yeah.
the foundation first before those opportunities come. So that they say get ready or stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And
My
so
Pip always said that. It's my favorite thing I've ever said. It was good
so
game. Good game.
yes. And so that's really, what I've learned on this journey is that you have to put in the work before you actually even get the opportunity to showcase those gifts and talents per se. Like you have to do a lot of background stuff that people don't see, you
So
know.
true. So true.
So I shared some and not to get off topic, but I shared a story about 62 million men that have subscribed to a website that teaches men how to essay women, their own wives and daughters, and anybody really. And so, when you talk about the healing and self love journey and just where we are as a collective, even as females in the earth, a lot of us have completely forgot about ourselves. So when you talk about being in touch with your body, we're not in tune with our bodies at all because we're living outside of ourselves. We're seeking
Yeah.
happiness and validation and approval outside of ourselves. We're not, tapped into this self-love. So can you dive in because you're a master teacher when it comes to somatics and how important it is for you to even be able to manifest anything that you desire. You have to tap in with self because we do know the majority of the people are doing things that they don't want to do, especially when it comes to work. And we're supposed to be doing things that we love to make money. That's how you vibrate high, not working a job that you ain't really feeling just because you need to make ends meet. Life was never supposed to be this way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Luann on TikTok is she says she's not surprised that there's a website out there like that, and it's crazy because you know, like I honestly, it's really not. difficult. Like, I don't think there needs to be a whole there the nature of the shadow side of the masculine is dominance, not in a good way, and is predatory, and also is to conquer, to overcome, to and is forceful. And so I think it's crazy that there are people that would pay for this service when all they have to do is be in touch with their shadow side, and they can get all the wisdom they need for free. And it's so easy for them to do this because, like you were saying, women are so disconnected from our physical bodies. And I know for me, when I was experiencing my trafficking, seeing dates and turning these dates, I literally had to experience like out of body experiences all the time because I knew that I needed to make money. I knew that I needed to do what I had to do in order to survive that moment. But also I had to be mechanical in the way that I was interacting with this other person because they're paying for connection. They're paying for an experience. And
Mhm.
I couldn't go too far out of my body, but I definitely had to really split my personalities in a way. And so when I think about how somatics has helped me to come back to myself and
Mhm.
be able to reconnect and create the bridge between the mind and the body that was so disconnected. I literally burned it in those 3.5 years because I couldn't I couldn't actually mentally be where I was with those men while also being in my body. They could not exist at the same time. So being able to have that split, it was a skill. It was a skill that I needed. And honestly, I think that we demonize our trauma responses a lot, which is the other spectrum of the unhealthy. Like we we don't need a lot of them sometimes. Like sometimes they're a little overreactive, but we have trauma responses for a reason. The fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Fawning is like people pleasing. These are all
Mhm.
responses that come up when we don't know how to handle the situation in front of us.
Right.
So when I started to use somatics, when I started to rebuild that connection from my mind to my body, I have never been harmed by a man since.
Mm.
Ever since I learned how to stand in my own power,
Yes.
what what man can hurt me? Who
Right.
really anybody? Who can
Right.
hurt me? There's there's no there's nothing that somebody else can do to me that I have not allowed, whether consciously or unconsciously. And what hurts, thank you so much, Lofness? Laughing Grass. You're hilarious. I love that name. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. There's this accountability that we miss out on when we're constantly saying, well, oh, it's my trauma. This is just how I am. And yeah, those excuses really were helpful when you were experiencing what you were experiencing. But
Mhm.
as you grow and as you get out of those situations, if you're still in it, those reasons are valid. But once you're out of it, now they've become excuses.
Right.
Survival mechanisms can become excuses when we've moved on from this.
Mhm.
So there is something within that is keeping the disconnection ongoing because there's a lot of fear around having the mind and the heart and the mind and the body connected, because it's like, I know I dealt with this, so I'm gonna call us all out here, but I I actually was afraid of the amount of responsibility and accountability that I was going to have to admit to once I
Mm-hmm.
did once I connected.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden I'm starting to realize my part in my
You're,
own, in yeah, exactly, in the things that had happened to me. Yeah.
so, and that's the first step is really acknowledging the part that you played so that you can forgive yourself and be able
Yeah.
to forgive, because you have to forgive yourself first, to be able to forgive everybody else, who has crossed you. And
Yes.
so, with my self-love and healing journey, it hasn't been one that I can even put into words. And so that's why I love what you're doing with the school, because it's just, written out step by step, your own pace. And it's so important, to tap back in with self,
Yes.
at this time, in order to even save yourself, because from my eyes, and I'm definitely, no one to judge anybody, because I've put myself in very unfavorable, situations. But now is the time, um, for everybody, not just the women, but the men as well. And I know for your services, you're just, offering them to women at this time. But, even for the men, being able to accept, the role that you played. And so let's talk about that,
Yeah.
because I think for men, a lot of their pain in general, the collective of men, comes from their mothers,
Mhm.
and the lack of, and could if father wounds as well, mother and father wounds. But you see a lot of men, blaming their mothers. Well,
Yeah.
at least I have, and not really, even if it's a single mom, it's no, a few of them go off on the dad, but it's mainly the mom, is her fault. So just for the sake of advice for the men, how can they, um, start their self-love and healing journey so that they do not become a part of this statistic, and if they are a part of this statistic that abuses women and children, because God is a forgiving God. So when you talk about redemption, I do believe people can change, but I'm not sitting around waiting on it. Everybody got to save themselves. But how can the men start? Where can they start their self-love and healing journey?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say that, my work with women directly helps men. Just because I'm not working specifically with them, it's actually so healing to be with a woman who knows herself, trusts herself, and to align herself with her own true power. Because not only did most of these men see their mothers maybe not um, able to hone that power, maybe they saw them in a weaker position, and not that they were weak, but that's that's most of the time what they're blaming. I've heard a lot of men, a lot of my exes have said this about their mothers, was it was just like they didn't see their moms stand up for themselves, so they just kind of learned that this was how you treat women. And so
Mm,
creating strong women and strength within ourselves automatically helps men, because one, they talk about the male loneliness epidemic. They also talk about like how um men are seeing that they are hmm, yeah, they're seeing that they have this wound within them. But in order to actually rise to the occasion, they have to come face to face with someone who's not going to let them act like that. Just like we as women have to do the same thing. Like if we're expecting men to change their behavior, we need to change. It's not the men that need to change. Like this is like, and I know this is like controversial, but it is not the men that need to change.
Yeah, I agree.
They're gonna do what they do, just like we're gonna do what we do, but we know the power that women have. Actually, a lot of women don't understand or know the power that they have. But we have the power to allow men to rise to the occasion. What we also have to rise, if we're going to raise our standards, men naturally are going to meet us where we're at. They're going to. It might take them a little bit longer than we would like, right? But we also have to remember that it took us some time to be able to ascend, right? And to be able to lift ourselves up. So it is us as individuals that need to change. Now,
it's true.
Yes. So for the men, recognizing that women raising their standards and acting differently and requiring more of you is actually helping you. It's helping you because if this is something that men want, is to be with a woman and have the wife and the kids and all those things, they're going to need to step up, which makes their life better. Everybody wins when we're ascending, when we're all ascending. Now, for women and the process that I walk us through, there's 5 phases to this. Because you can't just go from, okay, I know what I want, and now I'm just going to jump to it.
Right.
You have to, yeah, it takes some time to grow and expand. Yes. Now, I have seen men doing the work. I know so many of them. Beautiful people. So this is not like that there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with our dynamic. We're not seeing the benefits of the exchange when women are put up in higher places. Men's natural desire to pursue and the natural desire to want to do better, to rise, is such a gift for them. But if they have nothing to rise to, what are they going to do?
Right.
It starts with us. It starts with us.
It does.
We're the creation energy of this world. We are the ones that bring life, make it. They're the other part. They're the mechanical part of it. They definitely help. But we are the gestation. We are the womb. And so being able to wield the power of our creation energy, not just to create children, but also to create better opportunities. Women make things bigger, men make things smaller. Our energy is expansive, men's energy is contractive. And so if we can use these back and forth, then we can find that middle ground, but that middle ground is going to be on a higher place for both, for all of us, theys and gays too. So being able to have that balance in energy, because we all have both within, but the one that's stronger, the shadow aspects are going to dominate sometimes. Like we were saying before, shadow aspect of men is the masculine, I should say, is that it wants to conquer, power over. But the shadow of the feminine is like total, like low, like no control, like totally like
Chaos.
out of control, chaos. Thank you. Yes, chaos.
Mhm.
If both are existing in their shadows, it's a soup of mess. It's a soup of
That's where we are. I feel. I mean, and so when you said men are going to rise as high as the women, and that's something that we believe even in our indigenous tribes, nation can only be as high as the women. It's like with the state of the earth now, for me, it's a sign of how much we have fallen, um,
yes.
from fallen away from who we are, from the power that we have been given innately. And so how, and it's not our responsibility, to save anybody, but how do we, or what advice can you give, to the ladies, as far as how can they get back on track in alignment so that they can manifest whatever it is that they desire, and also for their children as well, because we wear a lot of hats as females, so we have a lot more responsibility. you
No,
know
for real, for real. And this is biology. Like, like I said, women make things bigger, men make things smaller. And so there are, like I said, 5 phases to this process. And I noticed that when I was trying to figure out and break down the mechanics of how I started to actually get the things that I wanted when I was expanding and doing bigger and better things, it was the first, which was find your yes. And this is the Flora method. So find your yes and being able to really clearly know what it is that we deeply desire, first and foremost. Second, we have to let go of society's um, expectations, the limiting beliefs that we've acquired from that. Uh, yes, like all, like really just letting go of the different aspects that have told us that what we want is delusional or illogical or crazy. And so that is the let go phase. Then we have the open phase, which is my favorite phase, where after you've figured out what it is that you want and you've let go of all the limitations and limiting beliefs from that were keeping you from it, you have to expand your container. Like I was talking about before, it is so important to actually be able to know that you can hold what it is that you're calling in. Your body is not going to freeze up when you have to take the next step towards your dream. You're not going to run away from your destiny. You're not going to fight anybody that gets in your way. And you're not going to people please. You're going to stand in your authenticity. And that is what the somatic practices do, is they open you up so that you can create space for this thing that you're calling in. So then we move to receive, because once you've found your yes, let go, and opened, now you're ready to receive. And in this phase, the self-sabotage can come up, where all of a sudden you're actually getting what you want, and sometimes it can freak you out. So it's really good to have guidance in this. And
Mhm.
then we ascend, where the ceiling of the last ascension becomes the floor of the next one. So everything that you learned through all 5 phases will compound. So then when you reach the top of that last cycle, you get to start at a new floor for the next one. And everything that you learned from previous guides you through to the next one. You sabotage less. It's easier and quicker to open. You know immediately what your next desire is, and you just continue to go up and up and up. And so, this expansion, like I was saying, women making things bigger, it is about expanding our energy. It is about opening up our capacity so that we
Yeah,
can get more things, because when we rise, so does everyone else. They
that's
will
right.
all rise to meet us where we are. And we
Mm-hmm.
take less shit too. So,
Trying to tell you. And so, practice makes perfect. And just like with anything, you have to practice self love. For me, I'm in the receiving phase. So I'm learning how to receive because I've been a giver all of my life. And I'm used to saying, no, don't worry about it. Oh, I'm good. And now
mm,
it's like, I think about my response and like, thank you. Okay, like thank you. I appreciate it. When I'm receiving things now, I don't push it away because those are our prayers being answered. And so I love the floor method and that entire system that you have set up. How can the people tap in with you to
right.
see what the somatic school of healing, it actually, what is it called again?
Yeah, School of Somatic Alchemy
School of
is
Somatic.
the, yes.
Excuse me.
Yes. No, that's okay. So the School of Somatic Alchemy is a monthly tuition that opens up not only this full course, it
Hmm.
is self-paced, but you also get live classes and live somatic sessions with me. So what I was experiencing when I was on my journey, and why it took me like nearly a decade to get here, is that when I would do a self paced course, I would have questions or I would get confused. I would wonder if I'm doing it right. And there was nobody to ask because it was self paced. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to have the self paced course in there so people could take their time with it, but also have live courses, or I'm sorry, live classes, and the Alchemist Answers, where twice a month you actually get to hop on live with me and work through the challenges or the different things that you're experiencing as you're going through the course. I have a full somatic practice library. I also do tarot, collective tarot readings and astrology forecast every single week. We talk about our weekly wins, and there's an Oracle Threads chat where if the Alchemist Answers call is too far away and you need something a little bit sooner, then you're able to just send me a voice note or text me in there, and then I'm able to respond in that chat. And what I found is that when other people ask questions to a teacher or a mentor and I listen, I get so much, almost as much as if I would have asked the question myself. So I wanted to have a space where people could come and feel open and get used to being seen as they expand, because that's a huge part of it, while also being able to see that other people are going to struggle in those same places. Other
Yeah.
people are going to have those same issues, and you're not alone in this process, even if you'll take every step by yourself, but you're never alone. And so all you have to do is go to sayalotus.com. It's just my handle. For those on TikTok, Luann, can you please type that in the chat? Sayalotus.com /SSA /SSA. And you can also find that on my Instagram. You can DM me on TikTok here or anywhere else that you're seeing this. And it's $97 a month. And like I said, you get all of that, the full course. There's I think about $2,000 worth of courses and magical things that are in there. So for $97 a month, and you can cancel at any time.
Indeed. So now, just to backtrack a little bit, you spoke about how manifestation and mindset is not enough anymore. And so we hear all the time, Your thoughts create your reality. And I was on that at one time, like, okay, well, if I'm thinking about this, and it should happen the way I'm thinking about it. I'm putting in a little bit of work, but I still wasn't in alignment per se. So how
Mm.
did you so what's the transition? Because I know a lot of people, that's kind of like the first thing you learn when you go through a spiritual awakening, and you be on that, you create my mind, create my own reality. So how did you what was the bridge for you to get from that state of mind to alignment and
Yeah.
now manifesting the life that you desire?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is such a good question. This transition point is when all the tricks and hacks stopped working. They literally just stopped working. I was like, why am I still homeless? Why can't I manifest a job? Why am I like, what is going on that like I'm changing my mindset. I'm thinking happy thoughts and I'm getting the little things in between, but all of these hacks and these affirmations aren't working anymore. And it was so frustrating because I felt like I was making all these changes. I felt like I was learning so much and I was really dedicated to the mindset and manifestation processes, but nothing in my life was actually changing. In fact, sometimes it got worse. And so,
Mhm.
not to say that, challenges aren't going to arise, but what happens when you start to work with somatics instead of just working with logic and mindset is that the things that used to totally derail you stop throwing you for a loop. You actually have the physical and mental capacity to deal with the challenges and you move through them. You start to actually enjoy this life. And my sun gate in human design is the love of the body. This is my purpose gate. And my incarnation cross, the whole reason I came here is the left angle cross of healing. I am here specifically to allow and teach other people, be the role model for other people to see how walking a path to healing can look. And it can look joyful, it can look fun. Yeah, I've been through the craziest things. I've literally survived the biggest crime to humanity. And yet here I am on this screen talking to y'all being like, life is so good and it gets to be this good. You get to actually, and this isn't, oh, I mindset, I'm thinking happy thoughts. Like I actually truly believe this. And the to really nail the question that you're asking, this is about attuning to a frequency. Your feelings are not your frequency. Your feelings are not your frequency. And when you go through the Flora method, what I'm doing with you and what I'm showing you is I'm showing you the body based techniques that attune you to joy, that attune you to this universal frequency that can be in the background of everything in your life. Doesn't mean you're not going to feel sad or feel mad, or all your
Mhm.
feelings are going to come up. They're valid. Your emotions are there for a reason, but your feelings are not your frequency. And if you can attune to that frequency, then no matter what goes on in life, you'll actually have more capacity, more excitement, and more
Mhm.
you'll build resilience to get through the things that before would have totally like wiped you out and threw
Yeah.
you for a loop.
Right. And so that's why the healing is so important, because you learn self control and you regain control of your emotions. Because when your emotions are out of whack, you're going to make some very irrational decisions and just, you know, like you said, derail yourself. But when you're able to control your emotions, is what the healing does. You can snap out of that. And I know for me, the last thing that I really had to let go, which was it within the past couple months, was anger. I had such a violent that I've dealt with for all my life. And I thought I was healed from it until I moved back to Florida and got a new neighbor. And I'm talking about, man, I was literally thinking it through. Like, if you put your hands on her, you're gonna be in jail. You're not a child. This isn't just go in the corner. You're gonna have to bail out. Now you're gonna have a record, everything you were. And I literally had to feel those emotions and talk myself because I was so close. But when you are in a healed state and you're on a healing journey, you're able to be rational and not be a hothead, Shonda, and mess up everything you got going on. And so that was
Mm.
like, for me, the last thing that, and my ancestors said to me, they said, apologize to her, because I did snap on her. And I'm like, but why? Because she's doing this to me, she's doing it. And they said, apologize. And when you apologize, you're gonna move. We're gonna make a way for you to move. Because I've been wanting to move. And so I'm like, okay. And I apologized for her, and I gave her a hug. And now this is my enemy. And but when I gave her a hug, it's almost like she fell in my arms, because of course I didn't come like, oh, I gotta apologize. I made sure that it was genuine. And so she
Yeah.
fell in my arms, and just I could see everything she was going through. She was definitely reaping karma for, but I had compassion, and I was able to see what she was going through and just send her some positive healing energy and walk away in love from that situation, and truly like, okay, this is nothing that's going to linger. This anger that you had or whatever y'all had, it's not going to linger. Like, you made peace with it. You made it right. You, even if she didn't apologize, you did. And so that's, accountability and really
Yes.
being
Mm.
grown about this thing, and taking responsibility, this healing journey. And if you do want a better quality of life, you have to take accountability and be responsible with your thoughts and your actions, the way you treat yourself, the way you treat other people. All of that plays a role in what you're going to attract, because you're going to attract the energy that you put out. And so if you're constantly angry, constantly mad, oh, the world is so, and I used to be like that too. And I was homeless, living on a deserted beach until I got my mind right. God set me down and set me out. I was out of humanity. Come sit your behind down for 2 years until
Yes,
you can figure it out.
and isn't it so crazy just how long when you're out of alignment, like when you refuse to claim what it is that you actually want, and you're just like kind of like flying by the seat of your pants, and all of these manifestation and mindset isn't working anymore, won't you be sat on your
Trip
bum, sit
with
down
nothing.
with
Yes, like,
nothing?
everything was taken from me.
Yes,
Everything. Down to
girl,
my everything.
everything. I love, girl, same. Like, I've lost my belongings, like my entire anything that I had gained, I lost it and lost it and lost it. And it was so crazy because when I moved to Virginia, a couple of years ago, that was the first time that I actually took my belongings with me, and I've had my belongings everywhere I've moved since then.
Me
Before,
too.
when it's crazy because before when I would move, I would lose everything, or I'd be like, F this, F that, I'm not taking this crap. And I would just go
Mhm.
with like the clothes on my back, maybe a little
Yes,
suitcase down the road.
yes,
Girl, calm down. Like,
right,
gather your things. And it's not about the material things, it's not
right.
about having the stuff. It's about recognizing the change and the shift and the growth of
Mhm.
what it really takes to have your belongings come with you
Yeah,
wherever you're going, especially if you're
responsibility.
moving around a lot.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, it takes a lot. You have to have your mind right. And I went through the same thing, constant everything. I had to leave so much, so many times, the same, just on the same site, toxic site, over and over. And I'm thinking, oh, it's because, my ego. I can survive, I can get it back, I can do it. But no, some of the stuff that I had to leave behind, I wanted it, thinking back on it. But at that time, it was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But when you grow through the healing and truly, and even backtracking to the situation with the girl, with my ex neighbor, I kept saying, even before I met her, I was just tired of fighting, because I've been fighting all of my life, and I'm like, I'm so tired of fighting, and then now I'm ready to fight this girl, but I'm so tired of fighting, is what I'm saying. I'm literally praying and telling God, I'm tired of fighting, but I want to whoop her, but I'm tired. And so we can, mix the signals that way as well, because we can't fool nobody but ourselves.
Right.
And, you know, we're at a time now where it's a mirror is on every, you're just seeing yourself. You're just seeing your
Yeah.
reflection. You
Ooh.
can't run from this mirror. And so now what the only place that you can go now is up. And I don't have everything that I want, but I'm at peace. I have joy, I have happiness. And those things money cannot buy. And at a time like this right now, so many people are in distress because they're out of alignment.
Yes.
It's just it's that simple, but it's gonna take some work for you to get back into alignment. But you've been putting in work for everybody outside of yourself. Now it's time to put in work for you and watch how your life elevate. It's going to be baby steps, because growth takes time. It takes time to unlearn different things. A lot of the things that we do is habit, it's habitual. And we have to learn how to break those habits, even putting ourselves last and just sacrificing ourselves to not, to where we're always left with nothing and nobody to look out for us. Now's the time to look out for yourselves. And so, and I'm finna do a little bit of promotion, because from my experiences, I'm just so grateful for you, because having you in my life, say, it keeps me aligned, because I have, um, what's the word that I'm looking for? I have to be accountable to the plans that we have, because it's easy for me to say, oh, I'm just, not gonna do nothing for the next month and be a kept woman. But no, I need to keep my word to Saya, and then I need to do my part for the people. But I'm just saying, you having you in my life, it definitely helps me week to week. And so I know, and even with your classes, I got a chance to go through the portal yesterday, and just having that space where I can talk about how I feel and not be judged, because that's another thing that a lot of people need. They need to talk to somebody where they don't feel judged and can truly get guidance. And so that's what I'm able to get from your academy, and being able to tap in with you one on one. So to all the people out there, y'all tap in with Saya and truly take your life serious at this time. And if you're able to do it on your own, hey, get on that self-love and healing journey on your own, and each one teach one. Bring another one up, because this is, we're ushering in this new earth, and you're gonna have to be on a certain frequency and vibration to survive,
For
because
real.
it's gonna, the vibration is gonna, you won't be able to handle it. Your body won't be able to handle it until you transform into your light body. And healing way to go. But man, shots out to Saya, and the somatic healing, like our nervous systems, and just eating to live, and taking out time for ourselves, meditation. It's all of this is so important right now. Everything that's going on around us is a distraction to keep you from focusing on yourself.
Yeah.
Nothing has power over you. Nothing has power over us. We give our power away on the daily, and we don't
For
have to
real.
keep doing that. Call your power back from every lifetime and timeline. I do that every morning. I've been having, like, last week was crazy. The energy was so heavy, and I'm like, oh, this is just, this energy trying to stop us from ushering in this new earth, baby, this healing energy. But we gonna keep pushing. And that's
Yes.
what you do. You keep pushing through about you.
Yes.
Because self-love
Yes.
is the highest vibration. It's the greatest love of all. Ain't no love better than self-love.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And the last thing that I'll add is like, you know, the word desire or this feeling of desire has really been demonized in society. And we've been told that this is a bad feeling or this is a sinful feeling or whatever. And the truth is that desire is biological. It's a
Mhm.
biological failsafe so that you can consistently be driven by it, because the other failsafe is fear. Fear
Yeah.
makes you shrink. And if you're driven by your fear, you're going to shrink. You're going to stay right where you're at. You might even regress. But if you're
It's
driven by your desire, if you're driven by this biological pull within you and you know how to tap into that, there is
Mhm.
nothing that you can't do.
That's
You can
right.
get anything that you want, and it's going to be what you want, not what society says you want, not what society or your parents or your friends or your
Mhm.
partner says is appropriate for you. It's what you want. And
Yes.
what you want, when you are in alignment and when you get what you want, it is for the highest good of all involved. It is for the
Yeah, because it's
highest
the
good of
only
all
way for
involved.
you to vibrate high. You cannot vibrate high living a lie. And if you don't
Right.
have what you want, you're not vibrating high. And I think a lot of us too are plagued with religion. And I just want to say that God is love, period. That's it. Hey, Mood. Hey. She's so cute.
Like, I'm on my side. Huh.
Yes, baby. But God is love. We have free will. So, do what makes you happy.
Yes.
That's the only way to vibrate high is to do what makes you happy. So,
Ashe.
I'm gonna let you close us out. If you have any more to say to the people, please grace us with your wisdom
Thank
and
you.
a prayer to close us out.
First of all, thank you so much for the literal best questions. I say this every episode, but I'm just like, you literally just asked like the greatest questions. So thank you so much. So generator coded. I love it.
What?
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for those of you that are curious about the School of Somatic Alchemy and being able to walk yourself through the Flora method, you can just go to Saya Lotus, my handle.com/SSA, and you'll be taken right there. And yes, let's close us out. Starting how we opened, we're going to close in the same way with 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Thanking Spirit for all of the clarity. Thanking the 4 directions for guiding us through and navigating us. Thanking the animal totems, our ancestors, and all of our spirit guides that showed up today. Asking that each and every person that has seen this and will see this will be touched, will be moved, will be inspired. And I pray for their healing, pray for
Yes.
their ascension, whether it's with us or on their own, in their own time. I trust divine timing. I trust my own timing.
Indeed.
Thank you, sugar. And with that, I'll say Ashe.
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, baby. Listen, that's
Ashe,
what's
she said.
up. Yes. Thank you so much. So we will see you all next time.
Yes,
Shalom.
thank you.